Throughout our vast human history, the greatest empires have always fallen to war, famines, and the strict march of time. Welcome to History Now Studios. Today, we blend the lessons of our real past with an epic and original fantasy myth here. Imagine an ancient civilization that did not rely upon iron or steel, but rather on the boundless power of pure magic now. This was the grand empire of Aeloria, a magnificent realm where towering crystal spires floated high above the clear sea. In our world, the Romans built massive stone aqueducts. The Aeolarians wove the very fabric of reality to shape pure utopia. For over 1,000 years, Aeloria was a beacon of true peace, ruled by a wise council of powerful adult mages and seers. Their massive floating cities were powered by glowing arcane cores, drawing endless energy from the deep ancient planet. The citizens lived in absolute harmony, completely free from disease, hard labor, and the brutal horrors of violent wars. But our true history teaches us that an era of unchecked prosperity often breeds a profound and deeply dangerous arrogance. A radical new faction of mages, known as the Vanguard, firmly believed they had successfully mastered the laws of nature. They argued that the natural energy of the planet was incredibly limited, and they needed to tap into the cosmic currents. Against the strict warnings of the Elder Council, the Vanguard began to build a massive arcane tower in the capital city. This terrifying dark structure was designed to pierce the veil of the stars and harvest the infinite magic of the cosmos. As the enormous dark tower finally activated, a blinding beam of pure purple energy shot violently into the dark heavens. For exactly 3 days, the Empire celebrated their incredible achievement as boundless power flowed into their crystals. However, this cosmic energy was profoundly unstable, behaving less like a gentle river and much more like a raging storm. The grand floating cities began to shake violently, their glowing blue arcane cores suddenly flashing a dangerous crimson. The elders desperately tried to sever this cosmic connection, but the heavy magical current was far too strong to be cut. Pure magic began to aggressively leak into the physical realm, warping the beautiful landscape into a terrifying nightmare. Beautiful green forests were instantly crystallized into jagged, sharp glass, and calm rivers turned into boiling plasma. The citizens of Aeloria panicked wildly, trapped on floating islands that were rapidly losing their magical stabilization. Gravity began to fail completely. Massive chunks of white marble broke away from the cities, plummeting into the dark sea. The Vanguard mages who started the disaster were consumed by the raw energy, their physical bodies burning into white ash. The sky turned a sickening shade of deep violet, thick with heavy arcane storms that rained pure destruction upon the land. Aeloria's greatest protector, an adult knight named Kalin, gathered the surviving scholars to attempt a desperate escape. They boarded ancient wooden ships, fleeing across the boiling ocean, while their glorious homeland shattered into pure dust. The great capital city, the crown jewel of the magical world, exploded in a blinding flash that completely deafened them. The shock wave of pure magical force raced across the turbulent sea, capsizing many of the fleeing wooden survivor vessels. Kalin watched in absolute horror as the towering crystal spires collapsed, sinking forever into the dark, freezing abyss. The fall of Aeloria was not a slow decline, but a rapid and brutal execution brought upon by their own massive arrogance. The few survivors washed ashore on a barren, unfamiliar continent, totally stripped of their incredible arcane technology. They were forced to learn how to survive using only basic tools, hunting and gathering like the primitive, ancient humans. Over centuries, the terrifying story of the magical apocalypse became a faded myth, whispered quietly around the campfires. The ruins of Aeloria remained lost beneath the ocean, a highly dangerous zone where the water still glowed a bright blue. Modern scholars in this fantasy realm now view magic not as a grand gift, but as a profoundly dangerous, volatile weapon. They teach the tragic tale of Aeloria to strictly remind the young that humanity must never attempt to outshine the cosmos. This original story heavily mirrors the real historical downfalls of great empires that expanded far beyond their limits. When a society believes it is totally invincible, it becomes entirely blind to the deep cracks forming in its foundation. History Now Studios creates these deep fantasy worlds to explore the universal truths that heavily govern all human life. The absolute thirst for ultimate power is a deeply terrifying flaw that transcends both the real world and fantasy realms. Aeloria fell because they simply forgot that all grand civilizations are bound by the strict laws of the natural universe. True progress must always be carefully balanced with deep respect for the powerful, terrifying forces we cannot fully tame. We hope this epic dark myth serves as a stark reminder of our own fragility in the face of immense technological progress. Join us on our next journey as we continue to explore the darkest historical truths and forge incredibly epic new legends. Thank you for walking through the deep shadows with us today. Subscribe now to uncover the grandest secrets of the cosmos.